Hey traders, Mike Katz here with 7 Points Capital. Good to be back in the seat. I was out for a few days and back today for some action in the SPYs. We had FOMC minutes today at 2 o'clock, and for the most part it was a non-event day, except when the minutes came out, volume picked up and the SPYs started moving a little bit. So we had a initial move to the downside on the SPYs. The Fed said that they're more likely to raise rates more often than they initially thought, and then the market rallied. But as soon as everything was digested, the market just took a dive. So, looking at this action today, there was some decent moves in the SPYs. Some of the traders here did well, shorting the SPYs, especially here after this bounce here. So let's zoom in a little bit. So here it's a crapshoot, right? Beforehand, nobody really knows what's going to happen. You could take a gamble, but that's not usually what we do. And then once you see the action, you start reacting, and a lot of the traders started reacting to this bounce here. So when this started failing and rolling over right in this area, catching that last draft down for size was pretty good for some of the traders. I personally didn't trade this today, but I was definitely watching the SPYs, as whenever there's general market type of news, I definitely want to keep an eye on the spiders and kind of get a feel for how that's affecting the symbols that I'm in. So looking at some of the names I was in, well, first of all, I was also checking out UVXY, and UVXY looks like it bottomed at 15 over the last few days, and now it's at 18, and this is the daily right here. And I don't know, we made a higher low here, 15, maybe 10 to 15 area is the new norm instead of 9 to 10. So it looks like volatility is kind of holding here. We shall see if this thing creeps back up. But if you notice today, the way that this traded today was that there wasn't much of an offer here. Usually when every time that the market would take a dip, there would be an offer at these VIX products, because you sell volatility and you make money. It was just such an easy trade. But with the debacle a couple of weeks ago with those volatility ETFs, I don't think that there's as much liquidity here as there used to be, and some people might be stepping away and not stepping in front of the shorts on these volatility products. So we shall see, but it looks like this is going to be more volatile, I think, in a very short term. On a minute-to-minute basis, there'll be less liquidity there, which could mean bigger moves. So I mainly was looking at earnings plays today, and coming back to today to the office, my goal was to just trade small, nothing too crazy, just hit a couple singles and doubles, get my groove back, and take it from there. But I was looking at earnings plays. US Silica was one I was looking at, and this ended up just doing very little. Looking at the 1 minute chart here, let's see. A lot of chop, had a little bit of a drift lower and then closed weak, but overall there was a lot of chop. So Silica, not a whole lot there. TTS was a big gapper and then just ended up being a snoozer, just a lot of sideways. QTS I traded, and I got stopped out of this one. Took a loss in this, where on this move here, while it was consolidating sideways, I was trying to figure out which way it wants to go, but then I said, okay, instead of guessing which way it's going to go, what I'll do is let it make its initial move and then try to trade the pullback. So that's exactly what I saw here. It moved up, and I figured this 35 level would be good support if it pulls back, and it just ended up being a trap. This thing pulls back. Looks like it wants to make a higher low here. In my book, that looks like a good trade. The volume bars, the big green volume bars are bigger, and the pullbacks on the red volume bars are smaller. And it's coming back to retest this level. Took a shot and ended up just being a very thin stock, and just drifted lower and took me out. So that was a loser today on QTS. What else? BYD was another loser for me. Let's see, BYD ended up being just chop all morning. If you look at this level here around 35, once we got past the pre-market, we opened right around here 35, and we spent most of the day just hugging 35, either a dollar higher or a dollar lower, and then just back and forth, a lot of chop. So when I was looking at it, where was it? Right here. Let's see, I think somewhere here. Yeah, so right here, also same idea. I was looking for a pop, come back and retest. Oh, it was right here actually. Kept on hugging 35, going over under a few times, and tried it on the long side, buying the dip, but just ended up getting stopped out of this one. I actually ended up cutting this off earlier instead of giving it till my stop, just thinking that there is no follow through and no reason to actually allow this thing to stop me out. So I just pretty much had a time stop and I took myself out. So this one ended up being a chop, but Walmart was really good. It was trading this one, and because it's such a big blue chip name, such a huge float, a lot of volume, and a very thick quote, I was able to do okay with this. Once I realized in the afternoon that there isn't much follow through, it's a lot of sideways, a lot of chop, I just started focusing on the level 2 and picking my spots and reading the tape and picking this off for 10, 15, 20 cents at a time. And when you're doing 5, 10,000 shares of this stuff, it adds up really fast. And that's what this ended up being. A nice trader, made a couple of bucks in this one and made up for some of the losses in the other names. And just nice way to finish green. Kind of met my goals of not trading too big and just trying to hit a couple singles and doubles. And that's what we ended up with. So I'm happy with today. And tomorrow should be interesting. Let's see. I think tonight at 8:30 we have Kashkari that's going to be speaking, giving a speech. It'll be interesting to see what he says with regards to interest rates. Any more clues as to whether or not they're going to hike more often than they initially thought. And we shall see. I think that could provide for a catalyst for some movement in the SPYs in the market as a whole. And then also the Bitcoin plays, the crypto plays looks like they're curling down, making that lower high, and a lot of the altcoins making the lower highs. So the blockchain names might be weak for a while also. So I'll be looking at that for the next few days. And that's pretty much it. Happy with today. Met some goals that I set for myself. And that's all I could really ask for. So I want to thank you all for watching. 7 Points Capital. Mike Katz with today's Trader Takeaways.